Welcome, everybody. It's episode 198. We're talking about boas with Aurora, who sometimes is Dana Scully. Sometimes Dana Scully.
Yeah, right.
And Barbara re-upped as a member. Thank you, Barbara. Let's do our little sponsor shout out thingies. VetDNA.com in case you need to test anything. I already know you need to test something. Use code #SHITHAPPENS for $5 off the crypto panel. It's normally $25. That's like a good discount. We love that. And then test arena virus, relevant, and other fun things if you need to check something prophylactically or in a case of emergency. That's all. All right, let's. Shane Kelley, Small Town Exotics, will be on Reptiles Unplugged tomorrow at 9 p.m. or tonight. I don't know what day it is. Fuck, tonight. And last night he was on Keys. Check him out over there if you want to see him hanging out with the Keys crew. He has a snow hognose collection on the ground. So if you're interested in different snow conda, Yeti, snow Arctic, fun baby hognoses, you can follow along at Small Town Exotics because snows are pretty cute. Bravo Zulu Ball Pythons, she will be at the Midwest Reptile Show this Sunday at the Indiana State Fairground, and she will have some ball pythons and some ghost wood, and we love wood around here, don't we?
Gotta have wood.
Yeah, obviously. Otherwise, what are we doing with our lives? Justin, I still don't know what he's doing. He's gone AWOL a little bit again, but I'm pretty sure he's breeding ball pythons in the Pacific Northwest, so we love that for him. Check out Stoneage Pythons on Instagram. And Andrew Powerhouse Pythons, he has lots of clutches coming. No shows, though, until the Pack Noirs in July in Puyallup. And I did ask him, I wanted to do like a post-Puyallup review show because it's been a while, because that's a big honky show for the Pacific Northwest. So we'll have a little episode for that. So if you're looking for rodents, gopher cocoa, ball pythons, other fun stuff, check out Andrew. Gray Family Snakes. I don't think I got an update again. Nope. But they're just waiting on ball python clutches to drop, all relatively high end, and lots of multi-recessives, including patternless, which is recessive. GrayFamilySnakes.com. I did get an update from Chris at BNS Reptilia. He had a Longicata birth this week, so congratulations. And he is a few more weeks away from T-positive occidentalis, maybe being born. We love that. Cross your fingers. And he is got colubrid eggs and ball pythons and all kinds of fun stuff. The next show is Lehigh Valley on June 22nd. But before that is Werfelstock on June 21st. I'm sure it'll be very festive. So if you're in the Northeast area, check it out and say hi. Maybe give him a hug. A little tickle. Tickle the pickle. Whatever it takes. BNS Reptilia. That was the worst sponsor spot again, as usual.
Entertaining.
How are you doing tonight?
Chill. Pretty chill. Thanks for having me.
Sorry, I'm still like half having a cold.
Oh no.
But I know I can hear my husband hacking up a lung in the other room. Jennifer's here. Chris is here. Lisa's here. All right, let's get into it. When did you start keeping reptiles? You don't have to go all the way to the womb or whatever, but what's your relationship?
Sure. My first pet reptile that I actually purchased and didn't just grab from the wild for a couple weeks and then let go was a corn snake. So the classic first pet reptile.
I love them.
Yeah. So I got her in 2004. So I was my first year of college, and that's when I got into reptiles pretty heavily. A friend of mine at the time had his whole reptile collection in one of the science rooms, and he had 2 adult corn snakes, and I just fell in love with them. And then I helped him take care of his collection and got into it from there.
Did you sneak them into your dorm, or were you living off?
It stayed with his collection in that same science
okay.
room. But
Right.
sometimes I had to sneak it to the dorm, right before vacation or whatever when I had to bring it home. So yeah.
Did an RA ever I don't know, bust down the door and see you like with a milk snake?
No, it never happened.
That's good.
Yeah.
That time was pretty dumb because like you get kicked out of school for the devil's lettuce possession, and you're like, who cares? I've always wondered if they'd be like, oh no, there's a milk snake in your pocket, kicked out, or they'd be like, well, that's fine,
Yeah, I know. I was in a dorm room with 6 other girls, like it was like an apartment style. So there was like 2 bedroom and 3 bedrooms, and I know like 2 of the girls in my apartment like hated snakes. Like they were super afraid, so they didn't know that I had it there when I did.
You should have fought them. That's all I can think of is like you got to fight for dominance or whatever.
Oh, sure, yeah. I know some people keep them just like hidden under their beds and stuff too, and like for the whole year.
Yeah, you got to establish dominance. It's not for pleasure. You just
this is the way it is.
I do have a special way. I don't know if it's good. Yeah, it's more like that. Do you still have your first pet snake?
She just passed away last year.
How old was she?
19.
That's good. That was a good run.
I mean, you see some that live to be 30, and I was kind of bummed, but as my first, I'm sure her husbandry wasn't perfect her whole life, but
yeah, I mean, we can talk about that a little bit. Sometimes I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think there's different modalities of corn snakiness. Like some of them seem to turn and burn faster, even if they were brumated the whole time. And I'm like, I don't know the differences between.
She was never brumated, not once. Yeah, I never bred her. Just a pet.
Yeah, it is impressive. She made it a long time. Was a happy pet.
Yeah, good girl.
When did you first get into boas?
I got my boa 3 years later. So I think it was 2008, something like 3 or 4 years later. Because I knew that was the species I wanted to breed. Like, I knew when I got my corn snake, like, okay, I'm in snakes for life. Like, I just loved them. And I fell in love with the boas, and I'm like, this is the one. So that started 2008 with my first boa, Tempest. So,
was there a particular inciting media, or did you see one in person and thought it was?
I had a couple friends online who had boas, and one of them, she lived in Minnesota as well, and she was breeding the Type 2 Anery, and that's how I first discovered the Type 2 Anery. Fell in love with those. So I ended up buying a het Type 2. She convinced me to get a male at the time. Wish I would have got a female, but I got a male, and then I found the adult Onyxia, the big Type 2 Anery adult, a year later, and I decided that was going to be my breeding project.
Did you find her like on kingsnake.com?
Yeah, I think it was Kingsnake or Fauna, old school stuff. Yep.
Which boa forum were you in the most?
Probably redtailboas.com. I think that was the big one
.net?
at the time. Or .net. Was it that the main boa forum?
The one that like Clay English had?
I don't remember who was running it.
I believe you. Right. It's funny because that was the way you like learned about things in the hobby.
Yep.
You could browse classifieds on Kingsnake or whatever, but you had to be in a forum sort of chatting with people to be like, oh, there's like a other person like me, and they're just like 2 years ahead of me, and they have these, and you had your little like 1.2 whatever in your signature. And so you're like, oh, they have ATBs or whatever, and you buy them that way. It was a different time.
Yeah, it really was. Spent a lot of time on Fauna. That was probably where I sold my first boas there. And some on Kingsnake too.
Have you been back there recently?
I haven't poked on Kingsnake for long. I poke on Fauna every now and then because people still post interesting things on there.
Yeah, there's still good stuff on Fauna. Like stuff that's not on Morph Market.
Yep. Sleeper stuff from the old school guys.
Did you see like Rich Zakowski's like? I don't know. It's kind of like an old man yelling at people to get off his lawn, like post where he's like, I don't really care about this, but if it's gonna be here, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
post for fauna.
Yep. Yeah. Like, hey, buy a membership so we can keep the lights on. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. I sometimes I'm like, maybe that time was better, but then there's ways that that time was not better because I don't like. It was extremely broy.
Yeah. I mean, it still is. That hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I don't know. We've all sort of things have moved on and changed some for the better, some for the worse. Some things are way better, but you were always interested in type two aneries.
I love them. Yeah. I thought they were
Mm-hmm.
really cool and different. I like the dark snakes. I like gray snakes. We have that in common.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of gray stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I like the
Did you
red too.
want RDR black-eyed aneries too, or were
So
you like satisfied?
I liked the regular. I like the silver eyes. I like the two-tone eyes where they've got like the
Mm-hmm.
bright silver on top and the dark. So I wasn't super interested. RDR is like, I feel like it's almost the same thing as your
Mm-hmm.
general type 2, just with black eyes. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
still exanthic-y, like it still reduces the yellows and stuff too. They still look awesome. So I think a lot of people jumped on the RDR because it was a higher price point,
Mm-hmm.
and the type 2 was so much cheaper at the time. And especially because I got in like right around that recession that
Mm-hmm.
happened that time. So everything dropped right when I was having babies.
Do you have any confusion now with people where they're like, I don't know, because type 1 is so common,
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, I either want one or RDR, but
I
they're like, I
haven't.
don't want two.
No, I haven't run into that at all. People seem to
Okay.
like the stuff that I'm producing. So yeah, that hasn't been a problem.
Okay, good. I have a type 2. I just haven't even bred him yet. I just thought he looked
Hmm,
really nice.
they
And I
do.
bought him
They
in
look really great.
21 or something.
Okay.
I should breed him probably.
Make some cool stuff.
Do you ever just hoard snakes?
I I usually keep my babies for at least a year before
Yeah.
I let them go, just to kind of
Mhm.
see how they color up and stuff, because they change so much in that first year, like dramatically sometimes.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. When was the first time you bred boas?
First time, well, so my first litter I didn't breed for. They just happened from the female that I purchased. So that was my first introduction to having babies. But the first time I actually bred was a couple years after that and got my first successful litter.
Since you're doing like sigmas and like higher latitude imperators for some of them, do you feel like you need to do more cooling, or do you do any cooling, or do you not believe in cooling? Where's your feelings on that
Sure,
one?
that's a good question. I kind of let my room naturally cool in the
Mm-hmm.
winter a bit, so it's just sort of a natural couple degree drop. But my room's usually around like 75, and it'll drop down to 70 in the winter, just ambient room temp, and then
Mm-hmm.
then all the cages still have heat.
And your sigmas will still breed with no extra cooling for you?
So I have not had super good luck breeding sigmas, and that's probably why.
Mm.
So yeah, learned that fairly recently. They need that extra cool period, and from what I've read and heard others talking about, they like to breed more in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So do that cooling winter and then put them together in the spring. So I've actually got a pair going on right now with a female. She's 5 this year, so I've got her breeding. It's not like a Sigma centered breeding; it's Sigma Imperator. But
Mm-hmm.
giving that a try, we'll see if she goes or not.
Do you think this? I don't know. Maybe you don't know or haven't, but have you heard if the Sigma Imperator hybrids are less necessitating coldness?
Maybe
You know.
most of what I have are Imperator Sigma hybrids,
Mm-hmm.
so in different percentages. So I really like how the two mix, just
Mm-hmm.
how they look, how they act. They're hardy, like they seem to do really well. So yeah, that's kind of what my direction is, mixing the morphs of those two.
How did you feel when Sigma was bumped up to full species and you were a dirty hybridizer.
I thought it was fascinating. Like the whole taxonomy and stuff. It's just a mess. Like boas are a mess. we're still trying to figure this shit out, right? So, I thought it was just really interesting. Like because they look so similar, but you can once we found that out, then you can kind of see like its differences and stuff. But I don't know. It's wild to me that they figured out that they're like 5% different. And they live right next to each other. There's got to be, I don't know, maybe the mountain ranges separate them. I can't remember exactly how that works because there's Imperator and Sigma in Mexico, just on like the different sides of the country.
I think there's a mountain range, but also like a very dry desert in the center of Mexico. They don't cross. Okay. It's so like too much. Separates. Yeah.
Sure. But 5%, that's just wild.
Yeah, we're more closely related to chimpanzees than they are to each other. Yeah. Gross.
But they can breed.
Yeah. It's cool. It is cool. It made me feel weird a little bit because I used to be sort of more strict about it, where it was like, oh yeah, I'm only ever going to breed mostly like in 2004. So I'm an idiot. So don't. But this was my perspective in 2004. I was like, I will only ever breed the pure Colombians to Colombians, except wink, weird exception because I'm fake, Panama for hypo.
Sure. And that was like all the hypos. Yeah.
That was like an illusion in my head that was like okay because they're kind of they kind of touch so and then, but everything is like that. Like, I don't know.
It was just a soup pot. Like back then, people would turn everything to everything.
Yeah, so. I didn't know what was pure or not.
Yeah. It's like, it looks pretty. Let's breed it.
Yeah, they're just like, if it was big looking, big-ish, and relatively buck skinny, they're like, it's a Colombian. And right. Who knows? It could have been anything. I had stuff sold to me as Colombian, but now that I look at them, they look like Costa Rican or something, or Costa Rican mix. So I think those are relatively clean based too. Doesn't matter.
I think what drew me was like the size, the smaller size typically of the northern boas. And I really like the tight circle back patterns. So that's what I have sought for my personal collection, because you see that more in the, north central animals than you do in the Colombians. So
what size do you think do you have any pure Sonorans?
I do. Yep. I have
what
3.
size do you think most of them are? Not all of them, but like a range.
I think most females are gonna see 6 foot for sure. Of Sonorans. Yeah. So yeah, people are saying they're like 4 or 5 feet and like that's it. Like, all right, maybe for a 7-year-old. But you have one that's, 10, 12. They're going to get bigger. They keep growing. So they keep growing even after they start breeding. I think that's kind of what people do is they say, oh, they breed at this size. So that's the size they get. And that's not true.
Yeah. I don't know how to like be polite about this really, but like everyone wants every boa to be a dwarf.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, dwarf is like, they're not 13 feet long. They're not the biggest ever.
Right. So that's kind of like my designation is it likely to get over 8 foot? It's not a dwarf. If it's probably going to stay under 8 foot, dwarfish territory. I think that's
but reasonable. Most of them don't even get to 8 foot.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah. But it's like, if it's possible, if it's likely, like it is. It's
like my biggest Colombians really now, the way I feed now, even at 20, aren't 8 feet.
That's amazing. You have 20-year-old Colombians?
Yeah, I didn't raise them up. I got them when I come back in, but she was born in 2006 or something.
That's really cool.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I love old boas. But I'm surprised that they're still under 8 feet. Yeah.
I think we fed the shit out of them a long time ago to make them. Probably. And she's not small. I wouldn't say like, every kid should have one. No,
Yeah.
but she is not. Like, you know, those boas are just like, they look like berms where they're just
Oh God.
obese.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're like somehow 12 feet long, but also like this big around.
You know, the big like
She doesn't
rolls
look
all
like
down
that.
the
She
tail.
looks like, you know, this big
Yeah.
around and
Sure.
7.5 feet or something. Like a normal shaped animal.
Yeah. Good.
Right. Costa Ricans can get big, but I think it depends on the locality. Like there's because Costa Rica's got like mountains and shit, valleys, coasts. So some of them are really, really big, but I think some of them are really, really small.
A lot of people talk about like the Hog Islands, you know, and you see like Dave's new video where they show, you know, and they're all like, you know, 3-4 feet and stuff. But I've seen people with Hog Islands that are 7 feet, you know. I think feeding has so much more to do with it. Like you can take any of these dwarf boas and make them not dwarfy, you know.
Right. So that's why I don't know. People get hung up with labels on stuff and whatever. I don't know if you should get that hung up on it. What's up, Adam? You should probably like don't worry about it too much. Feed a reasonable amount. Don't starve them, but don't blow them up. They will be a big size snake that needs an enclosure, doesn't live in a little but it's not going to eat your kid. So that's it. That's the story. Okay. So you're into type 2. What other morphe projects are you into?
Leopard for sure. I love leopard. Leopard and type 2 were my main projects. And then Nicaraguan hypo. I love Nicaraguan hypo. And so few people work with it, which is crazy to me.
And keeping it pure Nicaraguan?
Yeah, I like pure Nicaraguan and then mixed with some Sigma. And especially the leopard in the Sigma brings out more red. So I like that too. So it's kind of playing with the color palette.
Do you think it is? I'm getting us in trouble right now. I was gonna ask if you thought it was Nicaraguan pure hypo to begin with.
I think so. Okay. I think it looks different enough. Like, and so Nicaraguan as to where it was like shipped from, right? Like we don't know the actual origin of the animals that were shipped from there, right? Unless they came from a farm. Were they farmed?
I'm pretty sure they did come from a farm.
Okay.
I don't think you were allowed to wild collect.
Okay.
The reason why is because like the hypo, just nobody clip this and ship it to Facebook. Okay. The reason why is because hypo lives in the wild in Panama. And it just is fine. It's just fine gene. It just exists. It doesn't hurt their ability to survive. And Panama and Nicaragua are close to each other. So could a farm have just gotten something from Panama and just throw it in their farm batch? So it will still look very Nicaraguan. I know you don't know the answer to this question, but it's something I thought about.
Yeah, totally possible. But I just noticed that like it seems like all of the other hypos will destroy the pattern. They'll destroy that circle back pattern, whereas Nicaraguan seems less likely to have that effect on the pattern, whereas it just sort of washes out the tail and brings out that red color. And then they seem to increase in that pink and red and orange as they age, which it doesn't seem like the other hypos do.
You think it's different than the Panama hypo? Okay.
I do. I think it is. I don't know. Let's genetically test for it. You know, let's get that going. I want gene testing for boas.
I only want it for call and sharp. Just to tell them apart if you
that would be nice.
Happens. Otherwise, I don't really care.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you think that there are call sharps out there?
Yeah, they are right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think so too.
Because I've heard of multiple people breeding visual somethings to visual somethings and getting normals that are het. Weird. That means one of them is a like visual call het sharp, and they bred it to a sharp 100% het call, and so that you get some normals from that.
Sure.
And that is not
Surprise.
good. Not good.
Yeah, make it all confusing.
Yeah, it's not just confusing, it's like demoralizing because it took
Muddy.
you 6 years to raise up that female or something.
Oh,
And you're
sure.
like,
Yeah, you're not getting what you
"Oh."
want.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is it messes up like T plus projects. So like if you're like, oh, I really like whatever, and you accidentally have call in it, the call 100% overrides the T plus part of it.
Sure.
What are you gonna do? Keep it around? Like you sell it to a pet person? It's not a T plus anymore. The T negative hit.
Yeah, and no, the Sharp, T positive or T negative?
Wow. Just because it's allelic with boa woman caramel to me doesn't mean that it's really have any T plusness in it. What do you think about that? I know people say that, but like,
yeah, it's been talked about for years. So I'm curious.
Yeah, like I guess I want the rules answered or whatever. I want to know the things, but I don't want like genetic testing severely changes the value of the species that's being tested. Let me just put it that way.
Oh, how so?
Because when something's kind of expensive and the 66 percenters are a chance, a little lottery ticket, boop, boop,
yep,
they all have the same value. It's not as much as like, you know, like if you knew for sure, 100%. If you didn't know at all, it's a pet. It just adds value to like the middle of the litter.
Okay.
You know, like, oh, try it out.
Gambling. Yeah. Yeah, and the gambling is fun. Like that's a fun part of the hobby for sure.
Right. You're just like, oh, I'll just swing for the fences for this particular expensive recessive or whatever. When that part's gone, it means all of the pus has collapsed to normal price or whatever for that litter. And they don't mean anything anymore if you sort of overly value 100% accuracy. And I get it. You don't have to raise up females for a long time. I get it. But it doesn't make up for the fact that a bunch of things aren't worth anything now because nobody values them at all, even as like a gamble, like a cool gamble.
Sure.
No.
But it's going to increase the value of the ones that you know for sure. Because you can sell them as, you know.
Until all the potential buyers are demoralized and don't even want to buy anything.
I mean, yeah.
Listen, I just think it's a choice to be made for a species. And its outcomes are not necessarily all good and they aren't all bad. But it does not necessarily make all the animals in that species more expensive. It makes some of them more expensive and many of them less expensive. You know what I mean?
Sure. Though, I mean, at the same time, there are a lot of people who will sell those 66% possible hets as without, you know, they'll just flat out and say, oh, this is just, you know, a normal or whatever it's showing as too.
Probably as they should. I just like, if people think genetic testing like makes, I just don't think like in sort of total value of a project, I think it actually reduces the total value because it splits it into haves and have-nots. And so some things are more expensive and many things are less. Or like if they used to be able to get a $50 premium because it was a POS het, now they don't want to pay to test it. So it just collapses down to the other price anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't really matter in boas anyway, because you're just slowly, methodically plugging along.
If we could at least get a test for Imperator and Sigma and Constrictor, that would be nice.
Oh, it's not going to happen.
Why?
Because nobody knows what a pure wild type is.
We'd have to have that.
You'd have to go to each place, make sure it's pure.
Right. And actual locality.
Yeah, and pick each spot's place's stuff because they're all going to be different, and then pick microsatellites or whatever
Yeah.
you're going to use to determine the difference, and have like a catalog of purity to reference each individual animal you check against.
Yeah. It's a pipe dream.
It's literally never going to happen.
Oh, I'm depressed now.
The only thing you're going to get is like, is it het call or Sharp
The morphs.
or yeah, because it's like one thing, one mutation. You can find it. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Damn.
It would be cool, but like I think people are like, this is gonna prove that my thing is pure. But you have literally no way to prove anything.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used to get sort of caught up in the purity a little bit, and not anymore. Like, I like my stuff that's Nicaraguan, that looks Nicaraguan, like, you know, the Sigma that, you know, it's probably mostly Sigma, you know, and the leopard stuff and all that. But yeah, we don't know. That's okay.
Are you a fan of Warren Booth's projects?
Yeah. Yeah, I like what Booth is doing.
Have you bought a Booth animal?
Actually, Warren was one of the first people I traded with my very first litter.
Ooh, even better.
So, yeah, he got some of my surprise Type 2 anery babies, and I got some of my original pet leopard stuff from him. Like, yeah, back in 2010.
Oh, cool. Is Type 2 compatible with like where was the Type 2 first found?
I don't know. I know that I have 2 different lines of Type 2 that are compatible in my collection, because
I always heard there was the other side, an Imperator Type 2 and a Sigma Type 2.
Yep, there are. And there might be multiple Imperator Type 2s as
Very
well.
Cool.
Because like back in the day, I remember being told, like, if it looks similar, breed them together, they'll probably produce. Like that was it. They look like they would, you know, work, then they're probably going to work. So I had the Sigma line that I didn't know was Sigma at the time, that came from Jeremy Stone, which I don't think even he knew that it was Sigma, you know, like
I don't think,
the big black magic female and all that. So I have lineage from that. And then the Nicaraguan Type 2 that I ended up getting from Bob. And I mixed them together and made incredible, beautiful babies that are all Type 2. So,
all right, what do you think about, do you know how people have made a double homozygous Anery 1 black-eyed Anery?
No.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that it was compatible with Type 1.
It's not. It's like a double homozygous.
Oh, interesting. Right.
So you can do it, and it does look more gray.
Okay.
With black eyes.
That's complicated.
Right. It's not a big distinction, so it's hard to maybe sell like the byproducts. But what if, would you ever make a black-eyed Anery Type 2? I know you like the eyeballs, but if it was even grayer.
I don't know how it would look different. I don't think I would personally do it.
More gray.
Yeah. I don't know. Because they're not gray, they turn black. I mean, very black as adults.
Even grayer black.
I don't know. Sure. Know. Let's do it.
Because if you make an albino out of all the types, Type 2s are less yellow than 1s, but they are more yellow than black-eyed Anerys. Sometimes polygenics matters here, so like it depends on selective breeding.
Yeah.
So that's why if you double up, you take away a little bit more of a % of xanthan.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't do it. You don't care.
I don't need RDR.
More complication in your life.
I think if I was gonna get another Anery, it would probably be carbon, and I'd start getting into some Colombian stuff. I think the carbon.
You said the C word.
Is that bad?
Well, do you think carbon is RDR black-eyed Annery.
Is it?
They're
I don't know.
compatible at the very least. Like they make a homozygote that looks the same.
Oh, okay. I thought that they were sort of lighter in color, like a lighter gray background. Or am I thinking of a different one?
No, you're thinking of the right one. It's
Okay.
I'm gonna
They're
get
like a
canceled.
light background wash.
Do not clip this and put it on anywhere, by the way. Actually, you can. I don't care. Just make sure you tag me so I know. Otherwise, I'll just get reports anyway. But listen, so like people have bred them together, gotten visuals, which doesn't mean they're the same, but they look similar. But some people believe that the difference in phenotype, like the clear silver with a little bit of a darker for black-eyed Annery, is just lineage based, so just polygenics.
Okay. Well, if that's, I like that lineage. Then they're pretty.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you already had if you would have bought like it. I think a lot of the RDR black-eyed Anneries are very Nicaraguan-y looking.
Mm-hmm. And central,
yeah, or just whatever mutt, central mutt looking.
Central origin, yeah.
And the carbons are very Colombian imperator looking.
Yep.
So the bases are cleaner, and the saddle there's less saddle number, and they're more distinct.
Sure. And maybe it's something like, if the RDR and the, what did you say it was the
carbon?
With the carbon. You said that's RDR and what? And
which one?
Or it's just RDR, just which like one? A different line. To get the carbon, like to get that. Yeah, I think it's just RDR.
Because they came out of Aztecs.
Okay.
And Aztecs are.
I don't know. We're Aztecs.
Or whatever, Nicaraguan or whatever, anyway. Like they're related to the line.
Yeah. It's interesting. Compatibility.
I'm just saying, like, we have proven litters of compatibility, which doesn't mean the genes are the same.
Right.
But they basically have the same phenotype from different lineages with different polygenics. So they have a different aesthetic. So if you just like it, you want to spend more on it, it's fine. Whatever. Because buying based on what it looks like now is relevant because it takes a long time to grow them up. Because you could selectively breed from there, but it takes forever. So might as well buy the one that looks the best.
Yeah, I got my hands in too many other pies right now. It wouldn't be something I would do anytime soon. So,
did you ever work with Bow Woman Caramel?
No. I don't know much about it. It's pretty. Seems like it's got that sort of darker T positive look to it.
It was around when you got in.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing it in the parthenogenesis.
Go ahead.
Oh, it was just I remember the parthenogenesis and the stuff that Warren was working on with that back in the day.
Like they basically look like normals as adults, but they're like really obviously a T plus as a baby. Like nice bright adults, but they don't look that distinct. So
yeah, it's a darker caramel. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was a woman, I think her name was Sharon Moore, who discovered it in like a normal, like hobby level breeding of snakes. And she's like, oh, that's cool. And they were never morphed out until later. They weren't like a stomp dog thing. Chris is here. Adam says, I think it can help weed out scammers for that alone. It's such a huge win for shed testing. Sure it is. I'm just saying,
there are scammers. It's true.
I don't know. What I want more than shed testing is registries.
Yes.
And lineage. You can do shed testing with that. I don't need to know that it's pure, but I would love a third party that's like takes them in and puts it in their little stud book.
It would be wonderful. I would take that on as a project if I could get paid to do it. I would love to. Yeah. Do it like dogs and just keep track of everything. Because I nerd out on that constantly. Anytime I buy an animal, I want to know as far back as you can give me. Like, give me all the info.
Yeah, I think that's what causes all the like, is it pure? Is it not pure? Is
Sure,
if
because
you
we don't
had
have it.
a stud book from the original CITES import through time, you would know.
It should have
it
been
was
done from the
pure.
beginning.
Exactly. I think people
Really
thought.
should have.
I think people thought they couldn't breed snakes for a long time. Like, I don't know how to breed boas or whatever. They're just like, you just bring them in and you don't breed them and
It's just a
they
pet.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why I don't think they were. But now, like,
Sure.
if you're going to import something now, because you can still import from Nicaragua and some other countries legally.
Are they still bringing them to the U.S. from those farms? Okay.
In Suriname, like Guyana Shield countries, it's legal.
Okay.
Those ones could have a new stud book right now that's pure. And you know it's pure because you have the CITES paperwork. And you just start today. This is the Guyana Shield Purity Police book.
Must be registered. And then wouldn't it be great to be a breeder and be able to, you know, say that you have like all this record, you know, keeping? And it'd be wonderful.
Look, there's Shane Kelley.
Shane. Hi, Shane.
He's gonna vote for you as secretary of the registry. I think she should be president. So
sweet, let's do it. Give me money.
Yeah, like there's even software like for like dog, like you can just like get it off the shelf. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah.
No, I've been talking if you about don't want years. It to go back, it'd be like a new pure line or whatever. Just be like, okay, let's just have people self-report. This is the like what they believe to be true. They don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be perfect. But if we want to be like, what are all of the type 2 aneries in the whole hobby right now? Start there and then go from there.
Yeah. Trace it back as much as we can. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's
be dope.
The problem with like all reptile hobbies, in my opinion, is like people are in for a while and then they're out. And that's totally fine. Because it's a hobby. They're having fun. But the like continuity of knowledge depends on a limited number of people who just happen to stay in. So what if that responsibility is on a literal organization of humans called a breed club?
Something, yeah.
And they have a little book. And so the continuity of information is always there to new people as they get in. And if they get out, it's fine because everything was recorded while they were here.
Yeah. The structure. The structure would be.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
So Stephen, Leviathan Snakes, you probably know who he is starting a ball python beauty contest at Southeast Reptile Expo.
Fuck yeah.
Do you think there should be a boa beauty contest?
Absolutely.
Next one.
We need to start showing snakes like dogs. It's going to bring so many more people in to the hobby for one thing. And it would just be fucking fun. Like, it's just like, but we need to find good judges, you know, you have to find judges who
judges
know
with
how
taste.
to do it, you know? Yeah. So, that would be super fun. Yeah. I want to see more of that for sure.
How do you train a snake judge though?
I don't know. They just have to be around for a while, probably.
Do you trust even people who've been around for a while's taste?
Yeah. Well, everybody's got an opinion. Yeah. Different.
I know.
But that's true in like cat judging and dog judging and everything too. You know, they're all.
But usually, like the cat club has like has a breed standard and like a judge training session. Like they'll have little classes. Like this is how you put up your cat and you check it.
Yeah, you show. Yeah,
give it its little beans in the air. Give it a little dangle. That's a great cat. 10 out of 10 or what?
Sure. Yeah, doing snakes and like points off if it bites you. You know, like it's got an attitude. It's like no.
Right. I think we have a lot of work to do, but I do like the idea. I thought it was funny, but I was like, ball pythons are cool, but they have so little selective breeding as a species to be compared like apples to apples, like within the same morph or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And it would be hard because there's a billion morphs.
Right. So I think it's just more like vibes. It's vibe based. Like, oh, that was really
Sure.
cool. So
Yeah.
10 out of
Oh,
10.
this one's not just, yellow and black. Like, this one's different. Like, it's got something else going on. I'm not gonna hate on ball pythons. I'm sorry, but they have a limited color palette.
Right. The base amount of color in the wild animal is not that
Yeah,
complicated.
they're never gonna have like the orange and reds that boas do. Like,
I just
boas win
on the red department for sure.
Yep.
All right, can we talk about something sad?
Oh no, yeah, I suppose.
Oh no,
a lot of sadness in my history.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, my first boa. So this was Tempest. He was 2.5, 3 years old, I think, when he started developing this weird spine issue, where I noticed he wasn't able to crawl around like he had, and it came on pretty quickly, like within a couple of months. This developed, and I brought him into the vet and had these X-rays done, and we found out that his spine was calcifying. So it was fusing.
How old was he when symptoms onset of symptoms?
2.5. 2.5, 3 years old.
What locality was he?
He was a Central American mutt, as far as I understand, het type 2 anery.
But a mutt, okay.
I think he.
So I've heard of pure BCCs doing this, and I've heard of like mutt and purters doing this. Did they ever say if like there was elevated white blood cells too?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
It's okay.
I might have the email somewhere, but
like I always wondered if it was just like, I don't know, like a developmental defect where like it's or and I have heard it's hereditary, like multiple animals from the same litter did it.
Okay. Yeah, he was never bred or anything. I was planning to breed him to that big type 2 girl that I got, but never did.
Mm-hmm. So I have heard that, but then like, is it recessive? Yeah. What's the mode of inheritance? Yeah, but it looks like horrifically painful.
So. Yeah. Oh, I put him down like real quick after that. I just felt horrible for him.
I don't know if anybody can everybody see that like there's extra calcification on the vertebrae. Can we see? Is this obvious? I don't even know. Because here's like normal vertebrae.
You can see the normal, yeah, and then
they get crunchy.
Like he was very crunchy. Yeah.
Well, and I've seen a skeletonized version of one of these, and like the ribs were even getting lumpy eventually.
Yeah. That one I think is a bacterial infection.
Okay.
The one that makes the ribs and stuff lumpy. And I don't know if this one was bacterial or if it was determined even what it came from, or if it was like a cancer or something. I don't know. But it sucked. It's my first boa.
Yeah. Did you already have snakes by then to replace them?
Yeah.
Not in your heart, but like.
You're right. I mean, I had started buying some other snakes, and I think that happened around the same time that I had that surprise litter from Onyxia that dumped all those babies on me.
Was that the litter where she kept half of them in her?
No, that's a different snake.
Okay.
That's a recent thing that we can talk about too if you want.
Oh Lord, let's do that. It is weird because I've heard of lots of like ossified baby mummies.
She's got to have calcified babies in her. It's horrible. So that's Rose, and she's another pure Sonoran from my only pure Sonoran litter that I had. So she's I guess I don't need to get into all that, but I bred her last year, and I think it was my fault, which I hate to say, because I think I fed her a meal too close to when she was going to, have her babies. Mm-hmm. So it was probably within a month or so of her. It was about a month from her due date. And I didn't think it was a large meal. And she passed it, she pooped, and it's fine. And then like 2 days after that, she had half her litter premature, but she also dumped out some really old slugs. So I think this boa just, it wants to keep stuff in her for whatever reason. So she had some ancient slugs from when she slugged out 2 years prior, and one undeveloped baby that just, it was too early to even like breathe. So it passed real quickly. So I felt awful, and then I expected her to have the rest of them, you know, in a couple of weeks, because I was reading up on it. I was talking with Warren a bunch about it, and he just told me, like, as long as she's eating and she seems, you know, to be functioning normally, just keep doing what I'm doing. And that's what I've been doing, and she never had them, and she still has a lump. And I think at this time I need to just bring her to the vet and have this removed, because I don't think there's any way. I can't wait any longer. It's driving me crazy. So,
Thanks for the super chat, Jennifer.
those are cool.
I appreciate it.
And frustrating. Yeah.
I guess the problem is, like, I've heard of like calcified, mummified babies coming out with the next litter quite a lot. You just don't know if, like, because if you take them to the vet, a lot of times they'll basically spay your snake effectively to remove it. And if they're not septic, which we don't want them to be, but the baby isn't fused to the uterus, which we don't want, she could pass it later. So that's why it's like it's a hard choice.
Right. Yeah. So, but it hasn't moved. It's just like a lump kind of.
Do you have an ultrasound?
I don't.
They're fun for boas. I mean, they wiggle away, but you can see, like,
see the little skeletons.
See the skeletons, see the heart fluttering.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, someday it is. Someday. Someday.
Also, your shirt is fire.
Oh, thank you. It's got like a whole skeletal snake on it.
Whoa. Goth Betty over here.
Sometimes.
Well, hopefully she makes it. If she was spayed, would you have to go buy? Like, that's fine. You know, it just happens.
I'd let her go as a pet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give her up as a pet. Yep. That'd be the plan. I think that is my plan, probably this summer. Because I can't wait any longer. Like, how long have they held them in and still had them? Oh, hi, Jasper.
When was she due? In quotes.
She was due in July last year.
Oh.
Like early July.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's been almost a year. Yeah.
Well, bummer.
Yeah.
They're not alive anymore.
No.
But they will be out.
I'm curious to see what it looks like. Like, I'm a big biology nerd. You know, I've seen some weird stuff doing this, and I'm curious what's in there. So I've made friends with a new vet that I really like. He's an hour away, which isn't too bad, but I think I'm gonna go with him. He just neutered my rabbit that had testicular cancer. So.
Would you try to get them to save the uterus?
I don't know.
I mean, like, this could happen again. So, like, the extra.
Yeah, I wouldn't breed her, you know, again.
Right.
No, for sure. She would just be done. And since she's got this propensity to hold on to, you know, slugs or whatever else, maybe she's just not a good candidate for breeding. She's pretty. She's got a really pretty pink face, pink cheeks, like almost like a hyposonoran. I actually thought her father that I got from Warren Booth was a hyposonoran because he's so light and sandy in color. But he thinks that they're just a lighter variant. But yeah. And I think she's het leopard too. That's fun. Never got leopards from her. I've never produced a leopard yet. And I've had leopards or het leopards since 2010. So bummer.
What do they call it when a uterus has two heads?
Oh, like the two horns?
What is it called?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, bifurcated. Oh, I know something.
So are boas bifurcated?
They're not supposed to be, but maybe yours is. So like she'll.
I thought about trying to cycle her and seeing what that would do.
Right.
If that would like push things along if she had an ovulation or something. But I didn't want to risk it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I experiment with some things, not everything is a risk.
For no reason that I currently understand anatomically, it looks like there are baby boas developing in a large portion of her body. I don't really actually in my brain know how that works because a lot of the part that is vascularized to support a baby growing.
Oh, we lost you. Oh, it's the Aurora show. I'm sure she'll be back in a sec. Yeah, boas are awesome. If you like boas, you should get one. That's what I would say. I think they are probably the perfect pet snake. But if you want to breed, they will teach you lots of things. They will teach you lots of things, good and bad. But yeah,
You can't take
boas rock.
anywhere.
Hey, welcome back. Oh, and your sound is not there. Okay. Nothing there. Watch for those tornadoes. No sound. Technical difficulties.
What about now?
Nothing.
What about now?
Nope.
What about now? Really? What the fuck?
Silence.
Well, entertain everybody. Mic check. Mic check 1, 2. It should work.
Can't hear a thing. Nope. I'll nod when I hear you.
What about now? No?
Crickets. Crickets chirping. Eat, eat, eat. I can't make a cricket sound. I'm not gonna try.
That was a great. I just. What about?
Might have to come back in again.
All right, you stay here. Stay here.
Should I come back in again?
Oh, I go.
Oh.
I go. You stay. Tell them.
I'll stay.
Tell
I'll
them.
stay.
Story. You.
Can we do charades? I'm talking. Yeah, I can talk.
Story about boas.
A fish?
No, boas.
I'm not good at charades.
Listen, I'll be right back. Don't leave. Sorry. This is a fucking disaster. I'm right back. Nope. Right back.
Okay. I can hang out here. That's fine. So yeah, what else can I say about boas? Yeah, type 2 anery, Nicaraguan hypo.
Wait, they say they can hear
boas.
me, but you can't hear me.
Still no sound.
What the fuck?
Oh, I can't hear you. That's what's going on? Everybody else can hear me and I can't?
This has been very fun for everybody involved.
So I need to go out and come back in.
Try it. Sorry.
I can try. Let's do this.
I love the kind of content that we provide here for you. It's pretty good that y'all got to see me pantomime boas. What's up, Chris? I don't know. We're doing our best. So I don't know what the best is. It's not that great, actually. How's everybody's day doing? What about now?
Okay. Yay! It works again. Good. All right, we fixed it. That was fun. Gotta love lives.
Thank goodness this is live on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
Right? We're having fun.
Sure. It's a party.
That's what I'm saying. All right, how do you breed Boa Sigma right now?
Right now, I'm trying out that more cooling method. So I just did that this year, and next year I'll be trying to breed my big Sigma girl again.
Do you take them into a garage and expose them to very cold temperatures in the winter?
No,
Or
probably just turn off the heat at night. I think that'll be good
would you
enough.
go that hard in the paint?
If I had that ability, yeah. Right now I'm in a very small apartment. I moved out of my big 3-bedroom house after I broke up with my ex.
Oh no.
And
yeah.
so it's been a whole journey the last couple years. So
Yeah.
I'm in a transition
I don't know.
period.
Like the Sonoran Desert is very cold at night, but hot during the day, even in the winter. So like they almost need to be bred like. What is your feeding cycle?
Feeding, I start my neonates every 10 to 14 days, and then I bump to every 3 weeks when they're about 2 years old, and then as an adult, it's about once a month, and then that'll vary based on body condition. So I'll pay attention to the individual snake too, and go off of that. So, and then I do feed more in the fall, like right before breeding season, like end of summer, like August, September. I'll feed a little heavier, and then I start pairing my Imperator in October. Anyway,
do you feed it all in the winter?
I do. I feed for all but maybe 2 months. I'll usually do like a 2-month, 3-month fast for the boas, but I'll feed like smaller meals. Again, keeping an eye on body condition and stuff. I want my females a little bit thicker going in, if they're going to be breeding.
Yeah, like I've never induced labor in a female by feeding her like a medium rat, something small, even a month before. So I bet there was like a pathology with
something
your
with her.
female,
Yeah, I have lots of theories. Like I don't know. That one made the most sense to me at the time. But I'm quick to blame myself on things.
Just see if she has a bifurcated uterus. That's the only thing I care about. For some reason, Quirky's asking if you're single. I don't know if this is a come on, but maybe.
No, I have
not
a partner.
single, taken. Do you feed birds to any of your boas?
No, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I haven't tried quail or anything, but I'm sure they would love it. I heard it makes their poops gross, but
they're intense poops. Like,
yeah.
You're gonna wonder if you made the right choice, but they love birdies. They're like, yay!
Nice. I'm sure they eat a lot of them in the wild. Yeah. I worry about the beaks. Do you ever worry about the beaks, like puncturing something on the way down or being sharp?
Have you ever touched a beak?
I guess maybe not. Are they pretty soft?
They're not really sharp on like most kinds of birds. They're like pliable. They're like fingernail texture.
Okay.
I know.
So maybe that's less of a concern.
Yeah, I'm more worried. Like the hard part with bird sizing is the sternum is really big. And a rat is sort of like tubular, sort of naturally, and its little legs all fold down good. And so it's easy to eat. But a bird has like a little floppy head, a big sternum where all the sort of breast muscles attach. And so sometimes snakes are stupid. They're like, I don't know how to eat this. Like they need to go to the head first and then grab the bulk of the sternum. But they'll be going at the butt. It's all backwards. They need to be taught. And so I kind of size down, and then even if they're sort of like pulling a hog nose and eating it sideways, they figure it out pretty good.
And it's gotta be good mental enrichment for them too. Like figure out this new food item. Like the heck is this thing? And it'd be good.
Remember they used to feed like chicken parts in like the.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, I've done that before. I've given them like turkey necks. Yeah, like those.
And you probably could still do it, and it'd be fine. It just would be like a holdover food item. Like I used to buy chicken like quarters, like the leg, knee, whatever. I'd be like, dude, would you like a chicken? This was like 20 years ago, by the way. I haven't done that since. But They're just like, I'll eat that, sure.
Yeah, it's variety. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of some people like soaking the prey items in like chicken stock or something before feeding them as a treat. Like just like Merry Christmas, you have this plate of food.
It's so much salt though. I wonder if it's good for
Yeah, probably not.
No. Yeah, I don't know. And I wonder if they like would love iguana because they eat so much iguana where they're from. What if they like would be like blown away by being given an iguana?
I don't know.
Not an adult iguana, but like, an iguana.
Yeah.
Do they eat toucans? They probably would try.
That'd be a big beak. God.
Are there South American toucans? There probably are.
Maybe.
There sure are. Family Ramphestidae. But they don't look like the African toucans. I don't know.
Birds are cool.
Do you personally provide toucans to have the most biologically appropriate food item for your snakes each week? That's a joke.
Biologically appropriate? Sure. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like fixate on what happens in the wild.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, that would never not happen. I'm like, they probably eat dumpster rats and are like ecstatic about it because their rats are really fat and full of KFC grease and stuff.
Yeah, like there are boas living in cities. Like they're eating.
Yeah, have you seen those nasty like Mexico City boas? They're fat.
They're very well fed.
They're like, oh, eat cats. Oh, your nasty rats, your chihuahuas, no problem. Raccoons, nailed it. Yeah, well,
yeah, they get what they can.
Worky was trying to make chicken sausage for feeders, and it was more expensive than rats. I believe it.
Yeah, well, those reptilinks are expensive. Like, I think that's a cool concept. Like, especially for, hognose and like little colubrids, and you want like a combination meal or something for them. I'm sure boas would tear into them too, but I bet they would tear them apart.
Yeah, they'd probably spread it around like a baby.
Gross.
Because boas, like my very oldest, laziest ones will be like, oh, that's already dead. Okay. And they will just walk up to it and eat it. But most of them don't even do that. They want to have a go at it. A very slow motion, not even that exciting go at a dead rat. They'll like coil a little bit and be like, I got it, didn't I? And then they'll set it down and then eat it. Or do you have any like lazy ass wrappers?
Oh, my boas are like firepower.
All
like
of them?
they want to eat. Yeah, all of them. I have a couple lazy ball pythons that don't want to strike. They just want it left in there. Like, plate me, please.
Sorry, I'm dying. My internet doesn't work.
Oh.
If you don't feed toucans, you're canceled. And Lisa says I was joking. And I'm like, I bet they would eat it and be fine. Because the beaks break down in the
have
poop.
To.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of species that like hack up hairballs. I wonder if the species that hack up hairballs, snake-wise, do they also hack up beaks?
I don't know. Have you ever seen hairballs from your boas?
Mm-mm.
I have.
You have?
I see fur poops every once in a while. Yeah.
I see fur poops, but some species vomit up the fur.
Oh, sure, like white lips.
Yeah.
Right? Like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
I've never seen a boa yark up a hairball.
Me either, but I've definitely found them.
Mm-hmm. I just always thought that was a hairy poop.
Same.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
But maybe it is.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I've never seen it happen.
Have you ever seen a boa of boa, the genus, eat ova or deceased babies?
I've seen it online, not me personally.
Okay, I've never seen it either. A lot of times, I go, fuck.
Yeah, I'm sure I read on a forum somewhere or something that somebody's boa was eating their
Amazons will do it, and basins and anaconda will do it like regularly. Okay. and Brazilian rainbow boas, but I have never seen a boa do it.
Yeah.
I just don't
You
know
would
if they
think
do.
if the other ones do, they probably do too, but
Maybe they're dumb.
or maybe they're really smart.
Or maybe they're really smart. I don't know.
People say that boas are dumb, and I don't think they're as dumb as people say they are.
Oh, I don't think they're dumb at all. I think they're under our shit.
I think they're smarter than retics.
Ooh, shots fired. Shots fired.
Come at me.
Can you explain to me why people glaze up retics constantly for like intellect?
Because they look like they're aware and they move around more.
So do other things.
Exactly. Right. And they poop all over you, which boas don't do. I like that.
Like they're not a savant because they look at you sometimes. Lots of animals do that.
Yeah.
My thing is like people will say that about Russian rat snakes, and I'm like, to me, Russian rat snakes are equally as, outgoing and whatever as other snakes in the same genus. Like I don't why do people like use weird superlatives like, oh yeah, this is the best,
smartest, right? They want to make this better than this.
He can file your taxes.
Yeah, that's that bro culture. That's what it is. I think so.
Okay.
I think it's the broisms.
They like to. Well, I mean, I don't know. Is it the sales pitch where you have to have a feature of the animal at all times to convince people to want it?
Yeah. Oh, sales is a huge part of it, for sure. The best salespeople are going to be talking them up like crazy. And I
am the worst salesperson, actually. I'm always like, this pet's kind of shit. Mean on Thursdays, but not the rest of the time.
I just sold my meanest snake, so I'm super stoked
about
that. Yeah. Yeah, my weird little naked
mole rat
snake. No, the Everglades rat snake. I had named. I know how much you love scaleless. Yeah. So, and she was just a nightmare.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did it taste? Not taste, but maybe. I don't know. You could have tasted it. Did it feel like somebody's scrotum?
Oh yeah, it's up there a little bit. Not as wrinkly, but nice soft.
I'm not a scrotum that's cold. I'm talking about a scrotum that's very warm, not sweaty.
Less hairy.
Less hairy.
Yeah, I know. Snake Discovery, they have one named Scrote. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I have another one. I am gonna breed my male at some point.
Everglades rat snakes are so cool with scales.
Yeah, it's a cool species for sure.
And the hypo Everglades is very cool. The way they come out of the wild is very cool.
Yeah.
And
if I was gonna keep her,
I'd turn it into a scrotum with eyes.
They're so weird. Yeah, I was gonna get my original thought was I was gonna get a really nice, pretty male, and breed them and just make hets, and just have a nice
het for scrotum. You mean, or a het for
right?
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I got rid of her, so I have to downsize a little bit and make room for my new stuff.
Okay, what's your new stuff?
Oh, my pickup from Vin.
Mm-hmm.
With that, yeah, I got. Again, talking about Nicaraguans, I got my dream, pretty much Nicaraguan, which is his bloodline. So I'm getting a female blood Nick.
Did he tell you if those were pure?
He said they're pure, but they have IMG in the line, so they're not pure. Yeah, but I guess it's 5 gens back.
Sangria. Yeah. The gene sangria.
I've heard of it, but I know nothing about it.
Sangria is a hyper erythristic mutation that was found exclusively in Colombians. So it is. Let me air quote this again, really hard. Pure.
Right.
It could not. This all could not be true. It's going to be. I don't know. Fuck. But the babies that I've ever seen have looked very Colombian. As a percentage, they don't because a lot of het bloods and visual bloods look still El Salvadorian-ish, even if they're 50% Nick. Because you know I don't know if it's like a lineage thing or whatever, but they'll have a kind of CBLT that's a little longer and like stretched out. They have a kind of color difference.
Yeah.
And whoever even sees non-blood El Salvadorians.
Yeah, that's all you see for sure.
Yeah. I know they exist, and I've seen some of them, but I don't see that many. But to me, they have a look to them. Sangrias do not have that look. So I was wondering if you, like, I always thought his bloods were his Nick bloods were El Salvadorian bloods bred to Nicaraguans or like whatever, mostly Nicaraguans or whatever at this point. And then he has a little IMG for flavor fun.
I think the origin on his Nick bloods were from two like normal looking Nicks that he bred together years ago.
So it's another.
It's a new different blood strain that was pure Nick, but then he bred it to some other stuff.
Are there any original ones that were never bred to IMG or whatever?
I would love one. I don't know. Okay. I assume that he probably has some, but this one was really pretty, and I was okay with like the 5 gens, you know, because like I said, I'm not like a super purist, but it has the Nick look, it has the full circle back like I like, and it's gorgeous, and I'm excited about
her. They're talking about me for some reason.
I can't see the chat. I don't have it up. I have no idea.
I don't know. Leave Scalos alone. I will never leave it alone. I hate it.
They feel so, oh, I love my little one. He's just so soft.
Purple Church says it's a high percentage Nick, and he did the same with the salmon hyposonorans. Yeah, I didn't think it was independent Nick. Like it, but I could be wrong. It was not El Salvadorian blood.
Yeah.
It didn't come independently from Nicaraguan. He bred an El Salvadorian blood to Nicks to make.
From what I understand, it was just Nicks. But I that's what I've read.
We need to get his book.
Gotta tuck it in. I have it somewhere. I'm the one that told him about the missing pages.
Were there missing pages?
There's missing pages in the book, yeah.
Just totally
missing. Yeah, like missing. And because I'm a nerd and I read the book cover to cover, like when I got it. And I saw that there were missing pages and I emailed him and he was like, no, there aren't. No, they're not. No, they're not. And I was like, well, what's supposed to be on page blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh.
Is that from all copies or just one?
Yeah, all copies from at least that first run. I don't know if he's done a second run of the more complete. So. Yeah, so there's pages missing and I found them. Great. So that's my claim to fame, I guess.
Does everybody get a discount?
Yeah, right. I don't know. He sent me the PDF of the missing pages. So I have that printed out. But I don't know if you can get that anywhere else.
What's on the missing pages? This is like the map on the back of
I don't remember.
The Declaration of Independence. Get Nicholas Cage here right now.
If I remember right, it was from one of the Brazilian boa pages. It was something about a history of one of them. One of the specifics. But I don't have my book handy. I'm not sure where it is at the moment to look. But if you have it, look through it and you'll find the missing pages. I told him I want him to sign it someday. If I see him in person, I'm going to have him sign it.
With loose missing pages.
Okay, so he does send them. Okay. He includes them with the book. That's good.
That's crazy. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up? It's been all right. What do we miss up here? I think Quirky was asking about biosecurity. Do you test for any disease?
I need to. I haven't tested my stuff yet. I have the kit. Crazy. I know. I've been sitting on the kit for like a year. And yeah, you can totally run me through the ringer on this one. Yeah, it's going to happen this summer. I'm going to start. So, especially after what I've been through in the past. Yeah.
Yep. It's funny now, like the more shows I do like far away from where I am, everyone's like, oh yeah, I used to have boas. Then they all died. People will tell me stuff because they know I know what's up. Yeah. And I'm like,
I've never had a mystery death. Never seen anything super weird in my animals, so I feel pretty good, but I need to know.
I think the like locality boas are safer by accident, like because people aren't wheeling and dealing them as much.
Yeah, they're
It's
not as
usually like a
popular.
couple people breeding them. There's like a little bit of self-protectivity to that because they're not like buying in 20 and flipper dippering them to the pet store and then you bought them from the pet store. There's less of that going on.
Sure.
So like the transaction speed is relevant to like disease risk,
Sure.
but testing is good. You know?
Yeah. I've had a closed boa collection since 2018. This one from Vin will be this is my first boa purchase since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had them, sitting next to ball pythons in the same rack and stuff for years. Ball pythons are fine.
Maybe
So
the ball pythons gave him Nido.
No. Yeah, and my husbandry hasn't been perfect like my whole life. Every once, I get like humidity drops. My humidifier died this winter,
Mm-hmm.
and once in a while I'll see a little bit of like respiratory something, but it's never been anything like bad enough to where I needed to get antibiotics. Years and years since I had to do something like that. But it's
I'd definitely test
scary.
that for Nido though. To be honest.
Yeah, no. Does the like the Boyd panel, does that include like the Nido too? Okay, yeah, because that's what I was gonna do for all of them. And I have
it is expensive.
Yeah, but I have under 20 boas right now.
Yeah,
so,
now's the time to do it before you have a trillion. Fine.
Yeah,
And you're just like,
I'm
I
never
tested them all.
But yeah, I want to know for sure.
Purple Church says page 381 is missing. The one about CITES on his. So are people missing different pages?
No, it's just one page. It's just blank in there. It's like just a blank white page.
Blank.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said I want him to sign it. I'm a shit.
Draw a little picture.
Yeah, something like thanks for nothing, bitch.
What
if anybody wants to hire me as an editor,
yeah. Did we miss?
Sorry, was that?
What did we miss? Anything else like?
Oh, I don't know. I gave you a long list of shit, but
all right.
we don't have to go. If you want to be done, we could be done.
Well, did you ever test the CAT plus subadult that had motor control issues?
Yeah, that one that I traded for years ago. That was a whole bullshit situation. Like I'm still upset about how all that went down.
Well, explain the story.
Okay, so that was my first boa litter that I produced, and I had a T positive male, and a really cool looking like Nicaraguan import that I got, and she had like this sort of reddish color, and she was super iridescent, and I ended up selling her later and regretting that. But I did breed her, and she had a litter of 7 beautiful, nice kind of reddish colored het T positive babies, and I was dumb. And I traded the whole litter for an adult female T positive.
A CAT plus or a different one?
Yeah, CAT plus.
Where's the red mommy? Is she on here?
Taro. Yeah. Let's see, it would be I have a breeding picture of them. I think it's Phoenix times Taro. And she sort of had like the motley chaining on her. Phoenix with a P. Yeah, that's it. So they had babies, really nice ones, and I traded the whole litter to this guy who sent me this what was a sick T positive light colored female, and I sent you a picture of her too.
And this is CAT plus, like Berkstone? Or a different one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it was I'm not sure if it was Burke, but it was one of those, yeah.
Well, they're the same.
Yeah. Right.
Just other different.
Yeah, and I think the other one's just that's it. So she
why did you trade for the female? Because she was an adult?
Because she was closer to adult size, and I wanted her. So my original idea, when I was doing the type 2, was because at this time the type 2 T positive snow hadn't been produced, and I was in line to be the first one to make it until my adult female died.
Mhm.
So I was still sort of chasing that kind of project.
Do you want to make a Type 2 snow
now? No.
No. Why
I
not?
saw because I saw what it looks like, and I'm not a big fan.
You like the angels?
What are the angels?
So CAT plus BPI is Archangel, and CAT plus Hunter and T plus is the original angel. I don't know if there's other angels. One of these days, you're going to do a Dark Angel for Chris Angel.
Right, yeah.
But they're just
name it
the
Chris.
CAT plus is in a different part of the chromosome. You can make a double recessive that looks distinct with another T plus.
I have not looked into the combining the T plus. That's interesting.
So you could do you could probably do all kinds of like the Sonoran T plus to a CAT plus. I know it's a hybrid, but it would make an angel.
What's the Sonoran?
A Mexican angel. Isn't there a Sonoran T plus?
Is there? I don't know. There's a Costa Rican.
I know there's a Costa Rican. Isn't there another one?
I haven't seen a T plus. If there is, I want one.
I've seen a picture of it in Mexico. Eating
a
rat.
Cool.
I thought we had it here. Maybe not.
Oh no, I'd be interested in that. I don't have any T plus now.
Do you have Sonoran hypo? Because that's
like I thought I did, and I guess I don't. They're just really light and colorful.
Damn. Like, because that's very T plus looking in the homozygous form.
Yeah.
Not quite, but it's like, it's a good idea.
And the male that I have that was sold to me as a female or traded to me, looked very T plus, very,
Did it shed clear
as a baby? I don't remember. But he's he's dark now, or has black circles and whatever, more black now. But
I want to know if a super hypo Sonoran sheds clear.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Do hypos typically shed clear?
No, not like a Panama hypo.
Okay.
But T pluses shed clear. Like their sheds are complete, even though they look.
You can't
even a bow woman caramel adult sheds clear.
Really? I didn't know that.
Like there's not enough melanin on the shed to look like anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it? Anyway,
or are we like nerds or something?
I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting how we don't know how scales work.
There are so many fucking T pluses in boas everywhere all the time that you could look at an adult and be like, ugh, that could actually be a T plus visual homozygote, and you just don't know it because that's how common they are. Because when I was buying off King Snake as a baby, I bought 3 different T plus boas just from people selling it to you because they thought they were normals.
Really? That's amazing.
3 different ones because I was always buying for light, clean boas.
Sure.
And I got 3 different ones. I think 2 of them were probably boa woman caramels or something. Like they just didn't know what they were in 2001. And then one of them I think might have been. It looked more like a little more like it reminds me of what like paradigms look like more intense. So maybe it was het sharp and whatever. Which sounds stupid to say, but like I think people just ignored all the T pluses of the world, is what I'm saying. Call a super hypoanery sigma a sugar skull. All right, let's do it. Just print that. Send it to the printers.
Ship it. I have a name in mind for something I'm going to produce maybe next year. Like I'm right on the edge of
names. Let's talk about names. Names are very contentious. Do you think ideally the person who hits the combo first should name it, right?
Right.
But have you noticed a bias in the market where people do not name things unless somebody important names it? Like it doesn't matter if the first person picks a name. Because everyone's like,
if people are going to respect it or not. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What do we do to is there any like solution to that?
I suppose back to the books, having a registry and, recording this stuff. So,
because a lot of people be like, well, oh God, there was an event. I don't know if I want to get into it that hard, but let's say someone named a thing, and then someone else came out of the woodwork and was like, I've been calling my line that since last year, so you can't name your thing that thing. And then the guy's like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Because technically the second guy, it had more street cred, boa cred. And so then you're
sure,
like
if they've been
who
in the
gets
game
permission
longer.
to like bogart every boa name possible? and then if there was a boa breeding kennel club, it would know the name of the names. And you wouldn't have to be famous to deserve the right to keep the name.
Right. Yeah. Because you never used to. Nobody was famous back in the day. It was just whoever, did it first. And that's how you got fame.
Yeah. The other thing is like people act like, okay, I'm going to ask you. I never get a good answer from anybody because everyone's like, I don't know why. But there are many lines of pastel boa.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came back, I was like, y'all have been high this whole time while I was gone. Because it'll be like, one person named a line after the babies of a single female who's only been bred 2 times.
Yeah.
Is that a line? I feel like that's 2 dots, like connected, not a lineage of proven phenotype. And those names are on Morph Market now as names of lines. And then I'm like, okay, that's too far. But what is your take on that one?
I do think it needs to be a little more established than 2 breedings. But how many that is? Like,
or just
3?
any of the babies from a mom?
Like one litter?
Yes. And they'll be like, yeah, well, and I'm like, they're all fucking pastels though. They could all have been lumped under pastels of a particular line. They didn't need their own Morph Market.
Right. And it's polygenic anyway. It's just, line bred traits that you like. It's a pretty normal.
It drives me crazy because I'm like, well, I had boas with litters. I should just make a line. Just be like, yeah. They're all ding dong line.
Yeah. So I'll ask you on this. Like, so I bred these 2 different lines of type 2 anery together. How long down the line can I call that the Aurora type 2 anery?
When do you get a penis? Because I think that's relevant.
Yeah. Right.
I'm a little bit serious.
No, I know. You got to be a man. Yep.
No, fuck them. Fuck the police. I think you would need social media marketing because I think that's where it really counts. It actually doesn't have to do with how attractive it is, how good of a breeder you are, what you do. It's about how much hype you build around it. I think you could name it that line instantaneously if you trick enough people and do it.
Right, but is that ethical?
No. I don't know if anything we're doing is ethical anymore. I felt feeling ethically bankrupt for some time now. So
Fair.
Here we are. No, I think if you could have many animals descended from the first pairing for a couple years, you have websites,
couple generations,
and then you have the second generation because boa generations take a long time. We could all be dead by the time we get to second generation, but then I would be like, that's the line. 2 generations, boa generations, so a long time, 5 years maybe between.
Yeah,
and you're always breeding somebody somewhere every year that is like refining the look.
Right.
What do you think about?
Yeah, I mean that's my process right now. That's what I'm doing.
Like I don't know. I struggle with a lot of things since coming back into boas, and I still struggle today because boa people are largely not inviting, not very nice.
We've all been through shit.
Yeah. And they want to keep their secrets, and they think all their morphs are perfect or whatever. And then everything is your fault, and you shouldn't talk about it or help people, and disease doesn't exist. That's my experience with.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah. No, we just have to change it as we go.
Okay. Warren would never name it because naming causes fights. That is correct. Maybe that's the right answer. I do
Maybe.
like it when like somebody makes something that's so strongly distinct, even when it's out. I didn't leave the door open. Can you just close the door so the dog doesn't come in? Thank you. We have a dog crisis in here.
Oh no.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Forget.
Naming things.
Naming things.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna produce, hopefully, if I knock on wood, whenever you would, type 2 anery hypo leopards. So and super ghosts. Like leopard ghosts. That's what I'm hopefully gonna have next year. Made with my hodgepodge type 2 anery.
Does it have a name?
No, I don't think so, and I know what I want to call it.
Uh-oh.
Should I just say it here?
No.
Okay.
People are evil. Because I know snow leopards have been made and named.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's obvious. Yeah.
Is it obvious?
Well, if it's a snow and it's a leopard.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I was trying to get people to make fire ghosts of any locality. Frost.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Frost. Because
that's a good one.
Combines the two words and it's way whiter and grayer.
Perfect.
Than whatever the base ghost is. Nobody cares.
Perfect.
Nobody cares that I wanted it to be called that.
I care. I care. You should.
Thank you. I don't even want to like invent it. I'm just like, that combo makes sense smushing those words together. We don't need to call them Princess Diamond, Anery, whatever.
Yeah, some of the names are a little.
We don't need to call that. We just Frost. They're frosty and no, didn't catch on. So.
You could still make it happen. Like you were saying, marketing. Talk about it.
Yes, marketing.
Throw it around. Yeah. And I'm trained in marketing. I know how to do marketing, but I don't market myself much, and I should.
What do we need to know that you were trained on marketing that we should do better as a hobby?
That's a good question. I was just a marketer for a real estate agency for like 5 years. Like,
should we sell snakes the way we do real estate with like fresh baked cookies?
Yeah.
And open houses. And...
Sure. Well, first I would say everybody needs a website.
Hell yeah.
And I don't have one yet either. I just have my link tree. I know. I need to. That's another thing on my to-do list.
It's not good.
I need to build a website. I like building websites too. I love doing all of these things for other people, but it's really hard to do it for myself and my stuff. Just dumb. But yeah, I'm everybody's cheerleader. Like I will sing praises for everybody, but I need to put that energy into my stuff. Yeah.
Purple Church says Warren made a leopard ghost with type 2, but he won't reveal it.
Really?
Why won't he reveal it? He says he wants it to develop adult colors.
Okay, I bet it's with his pure Sonoran. His pure Sonoran type 2. I bet. Yeah. Because with
the Sonoran hypo, not the Panamanian Nicaraguan
or anything else.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you want to see mine, I don't know if you want to pull up the picture. Keiko. If you pull up like Keiko Light, I think is the name on it. Yeah. And you'll see she's my incredible ghost het leopard because she has bold contrast. She's ridiculous. She might be my favorite snake right now. Yeah. So that's got that high contrast that I like, silver and black. Now imagine that with the leopard pattern. And that's what I'm going to make.
It is a lot of black for being hypo.
But her tail is all washed out.
Yeah, I see it. That's pretty cool.
But that's the Nicaraguan influence. Keeps that darkness in there. I think. So.
You sure it's not the Sigma influence?
Could be. Probably both. Yeah. But I know all of my Nicaraguans get more black as they get older, too. They all darken up. almost like IMG quality. It's weird.
Would
Like
he
everything
name
that I
it?
have.
Well, they're different morphs. They're actually like kind of talking about the same thing, but they're not because it's a different hypo.
Different lines. Yeah.
Two different names.
Yep.
We'll call it
Yep.
Spooky Dookie and Graveyard Shift.
Sure.
We'll mix it up. We already have like
Love it.
specters and what's the other one we
Yeah.
have? That's
Oh.
ghostly.
I don't know. The
It's not
specters are cool.
plasmas.
No, that's blood.
What's
Hmm.
it's Ghost,
Pewter and
Spectre,
plasma.
and Banshee or something?
Hmm.
What's one? I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if we need combo names for stuff that's like not that
Yeah.
different. I just want like a
It's
name
got
for
3
the whole
genes.
concept. I think. Like, you know,
Like no matter what ingredients it is, as long as it's
right,
like
snow. Snow is always a snow. Even no matter which
Sure.
albino or which anery.
Yeah. Sharp snow, call snow.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
So we should have names to define like a whole category of things. Like, so frost could be any anery plus any
fire.
hypo plus fire, because fire makes things look particularly weird. So they would all be different kinds of frost. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'm gonna have to talk to Warren then about
Yeah,
this
get
leopard
on the
ghost that he
horn.
has. Yeah, because that's my project, man. Don't take that from me.
Well, yours is different because they're different hypos. They
Right.
don't count. All right,
That's true.
carbon. We talked about carbon a little bit earlier. This isn't a
Mhm.
carbon. I think he was referring to the picture.
Oh yeah, no, she's Nick hypo and leopard and type 2 anery, and the type 2 is Nick and Sonoran combined. Long-term projects. This will be 15 years in the making if I finally
Holy shit.
15, 16 years. Yeah. Labor of love. That's why we're crazy.
Yeah, do you sell snakes mostly online or at shows or
Mostly online. I've sold one at a show. I would love to do more shows. I just don't produce enough animals to make doing shows worth it.
I think you're fine.
Yeah, I see your show videos. So that's a lot of work.
It is literal
You're a rock star.
abuse of me. So
yeah. No,
no,
I would like
fine,
to do
but
more
a lot of people
shows.
like, I wish I could do shows. I'm like, if your business is in production is good enough that you sell most of it online, be happy.
The thing
It's
is,
fine.
I love shows. I love going to shows. I love selling at shows, but I want to sell art at shows primarily.
All right, do that.
Need to do more snake art and go, yeah. Go
that
bum
would
around
be
the
better
country.
at shows than snakes anyway. Because
Yeah.
then you could still like
Ship
maybe
dry
have
goods
a
and-
show off snake, but then you don't have to be like, oh, I gotta force a family to buy my dumb snake so I can feed my kids tonight. I literally hate my life most of the time. No, I don't. It's fine.
Pivot. So
Shows are a bonus where you get to see weirdos like us. Yeah, but she could do that if she's selling art. That's what I'm saying. So people have come up to me recently and they're like, I just love drawing. Should I do shows? I'm like, yeah, probably. Like, you would enrich this place way better than another person bringing more of the same kinds of snakes if you just were vibing or whatever. What if here's an idea. What if somebody could do like caricature art and would draw? You don't have to bring your snake in, but like show a picture of the snake and they do a character drawing of the person with their snake or bearded dragon or something at the show. Sure. That person would make a killing.
It would be huge. And we need to see more of that kind of stuff. Face painting. Like, I've thought about doing face painting at a show. Like,
yeah,
it's huge. Yeah.
Kill it. It would kill it.
It'd be fun.
Do you feel like you can ID het leopard? Do you think it's incomplete dominant?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
What properties of the snake do you think make it het leopard?
I can point some out.
All right, let's point them out. What picture do you want?
Let's see. What's a good one? Actually, that one at Keiko that you had up wouldn't be a bad one. Yeah, that one works. Or the one of Kira and Odo. Yeah. So kind of telltale signs that I've learned is instead of like the circle back type pattern, you get diamonds. So like
Like
what would be a circle is stretched and has points. You can kind of see that on her. Maybe this isn't the best picture to show that, but she has a lot that are stretched and pointed. And then that makes the saddles look more like bow tie, sort of that squished look.
okay, but
And
did you know like mini boas make that saddle shape?
Yeah. Oh, they do.
You're
That's why
saying
that's
like
not the
in a
only thing.
lineage that wanted to be CBLTE looking.
Mhm.
Okay, keep going. I don't believe you, but keep going.
Yeah, sure. Then they usually have darker eyes. See that darker eye,
I could believe
and
that.
yeah, they usually have the cross on top of the head.
Isn't that
which, again,
a Sonoran
common central? Yep,
feature?
common central feature. Yes.
And
And then
you're
the
saying
little
stuff
hole.
that is like the property of like just anything bred to a sigma. All right, keep going. I'm gonna mute myself.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I hear you. And then the little hole on the top of the head. There, that weird little head stamp.
Again, with the things that are the property of hybrids of the two things.
You put all of these things together in one snake, and you know that there's like leopard in that lineage. It's probably a het leopard.
I
don't know.
I am saying
9 times out of 10, I think I can pick them out. Oh, another thing. Okay. Another one on there that I didn't mention is along the sides, like of the saddle pattern. Like if you look at the top along the sides, usually there's sort of like a washed out quality to that. And it almost looks like there's kind of washed out lines that go. You can kind of see on her. She's really black. Like she has more, black in her saddles than usual. So it sort of pushes that, but you can see that line on those saddles. So that's another feature too. Like some of hers, it almost looks like a hole.
Another thing that is also in other non-het leopards.
Sure. And all of these traits can happen in other boas. Yeah. But when they're all together in one, pretty commonly a het leopard. If you know there's lineage of leopard in that.
That's why you need testing, so the het leopard police will chill the fuck out.
Yes. I would love a het leopard test.
You know that leopard affects motley because it stripes it out. Like het leopard makes motley striped.
Yeah.
So there's some head effect on other
allelic sort of thing.
It's not allelic, it's like no. It just affects it. So there are some effects in the heterozygous form on the pattern. I just like every time anybody points anything out to me, I'm like, if you jumbled one of those in 100 normal boas, you wouldn't be able to pick it out.
Oh, 100% I could.
So like it doesn't.
I could find it.
Really know. I don't
know. Make an experiment. Design an experiment. Have a whole bunch of normals, and then throw one het leopard in there. And
that are like half sigma impaired or crosses, which a lot of these things have all those features too. And then do it. And you wouldn't even need to bring snakes together. You could just randomize 100 pictures. I bet you most people couldn't pick it out.
Maybe not. But I've spent like the last 15 years looking at this. Like with a fine-tooth comb.
But have you ever tested the ones you did not believe were het? Like bred the ones you did not believe were het?
I've only made 100% hets so far.
Okay. So how would you know what non-hets look like that are from the same lineage parent?
I've researched. Okay. Maybe not from my own breedings, but I pay attention to the forums. I read all the stupid Facebook comments sometimes, not as much anymore, but yeah, it's interesting.
Like I think you can tell what, like that, because het aneries of all kinds are desaturated 10%, 20% sometimes.
Yeah. I don't think I've noticed that.
If you put them in a albino, the albinos end up looking kind of green looking. T plus or T negative doesn't matter. They just look greener if they're het anery.
If they have that het anery, interesting.
Because anery is really like minus 20% color, and then visual like homozygous anery is minus 95% color. Is not all the way there. That's all that is. But so I can see that. But if you smush them in with a billion, it would, because like you can polygenically add a bunch of color to something so that even if it's het anery, it's only taking 10% off of a billion color juices.
Sure. Yeah.
So
it's
you
not going to
can't
be
tell.
super noticeable. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I
So-
think the patterning with the het leopards is enough to designate them as incomplete dominant. I'm in that camp. You can agree to disagree. That's fine.
I don't know. I'm sure there are some features that are very specific to them that if you had a het to het pairing and you had 66%, you'd be like, these are just kind of weird looking, like a collection of weirdness to them. I believe those are hets, and these ones are a little more boring. I am a spoil sport, and Purple Church says they are more aberrant in general.
Yeah, they will throw aberrancies.
Yeah, stripiness for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I have the Stars and Stripes line, so I do see some of that. Actually, I might be letting go one of my
message slide into the DMs for a purchase opportunity.
If you want in on this cool, crazy leopard project that I'm working on, I might let go one of my females this summer just to make room for some other stuff. So always evolving. Boas.
Do you still have not pythons? No. And you still have ball pythons?
I have 2 that I tried sort of breeding. I don't know.
Are they just for fun pets now?
Yeah, sort of. I might let my female go. She isn't doing anything. I have a Candino pied male and a pastel het candy female. So got about making some candy stuff. That price has dropped on that project like crazy recently too, but I think it's gonna come back up.
I don't.
People really people think the babies are ugly, which they kind of are. The babies don't look good like a banana baby does, but the adults look amazing. So, like people.
Yeah, but people sell ball pythons when they're babies.
Right. I'd have to hold on to them for like 2 years. When
I don't know. The ball python market fucking confuses me every day. Like
it's a whole thing.
There's a lot of like cooks in the kitchen, and things that should empirically be more expensive than what they are because they're attractive aren't, because it's not in vogue at that moment. It may not be for the next 10 years, but you don't know that. You're just trying to find a pet person who wants to buy a nice looking snake. So like you can price it whatever you want. It is extremely difficult to make any sort of strong predictions with any accuracy right now in terms of pricing and
Yeah, I agree. It's weird. It's a gambling market.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon cards, but more expensive. Did you get your Stars and Stripes from Hans?
The lineage goes back to Hans. Actually, my pure Sonoran girl, I got her from Brandon Nixon. He was another one I did trades with back in the day with my Type 2 anery stuff, and she traces her lineage to Hans, and my other one, Jupiter, who was on the cover, the thumbnail. All the leopard boas go back to Hans, really, don't they?
I think so.
Brought them in. But I know that one's got some Colombian in him from, I think he was bred, or not he was, but his grandparents or whatever were bred with Call albino.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a tiny % chance that he's carrying Call albino, and I put that into all my shit. Hopefully not.
Ew.
But, yeah,
gross.
That would be bad.
I guess you do need that testing now.
Yeah, right? So that's where I get like my purist stuff, I don't want that other stuff in there, But,
I don't want it in there because it's irritating. Their eyeballs fall out. So
yeah. I'm not a huge fan of albino in general, like typically like general albinos, but I like the Candino stuff and the ball pythons.
Yeah, I don't like snakes that are born defective. Like the process of you making a pet has made a bunch of animals that are suffering.
Yeah,
So
don't get me started
I
on
have
dogs.
some, they're like pause heads and stuff, but I don't actually want to ever produce intentionally T negatives, but I'm a psycho, so don't do what I do.
Like, we're boa people. It's just what we do.
Just gonna be psycho about stuff,
Just
like
gotta
whether or
be
not
crazy.
het motley exists or het
The hell is it?
het leopard exists. I
Yeah.
think it does. I just like every time anybody points anything out, I'm like, those are fucking properties of snakes that are just
Mhm.
from that line. You gotta
Yeah.
be more specific, but
Mhm.
I think we did it. Any final thoughts? Where can people message you if they want to buy a boa or a ball python when you get out of Candino pies?
If I ever have eggs, yeah. I've never even touched a snake egg before. Been breeding
Really?
snakes for Oh, I touched a slug because my house snake, my Tanzanian house snake, had slugs last month.
When I was just doing things that did live bearing, I thought that was really fun, and I was scared of the idea of incubating because
Right,
it was
yeah.
hard. And it is fucking hard because it's all your fault if you kill those babies. If the mom has a bad slug out litter, you're like, oh damn. But it's your fault if you mess up the incubator.
Yep.
Dummy.
Extra pressure.
Idiot.
Yeah. Unless you just let them maternally incubate.
Even then, that's still kind of your fault because you have to like give her like a boa is better at thermoregulating her body perfectly to 88 degrees than a ball python is at keeping her coils a better temperature. And so a lot of people like when they paternally incubate, they desiccate the eggs and stuff because it's not 90 degrees in Africa.
Right. But yeah, Instagram is probably the best. Instagram, Morph Market, but
do you have anything for sale on Morph Market right now? Are you sold out? Kind of.
No, but I am listing actually my 2 holdbacks, my from my last litter, which they're 2 years old now.
And that was your last litter?
2 years ago, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'm not breeding every year, just here and there sporadically. Yeah.
The
next year, like I said, it's going to be a big year.
Let me just put it. I don't think it's perfect.
Oh, I wanted to play in it, like I just haven't put a lot of effort in.
But I'm saying, like, if you have a litter or two, if someone at home has a litter or two, and you're not like psycho about pricing, there's enough people who are like boas and are interested in boas, they'll buy them. Like,
I've never had a problem selling boas.
Yeah.
Sometimes I sit on them for a while, but yeah, I get what I want for them.
Right. You don't need to go to $5, and you aren't going to sell out right away. But most people sell out of most of their boas in a year.
They hold value.
Or so.
Yeah.
Because there aren't that many fucking boas. Let's be clear.
You're a pain in the ass to breed.
You have pure Sonoran type 2 aneries?
I don't, but I want some from Warren. I think he might hook me up with a het or something here soon. So yeah, I want pure Sonoran type 2s. They're a bucket list animal for sure.
Very cool. And then she never has her first clutch, and now she's nervous, and it's all my fault if they die. That helps. Yes, it is. Like, I don't know, your incubator careens out of control and all the babies born with horrific deformities. That's your fault. So let's just rub that in right away.
You have to like burp it every once in a while, like let the fresh air in. Like
once they get older and the embryo breathes more.
Okay. Give them
Is that weird?
Yeah. The whole process.
Right. If you do all boas, you don't have to do shit. Yeah. But then it feels like it takes a long time because like the mom, like they're courting for 3 months and they're gravid for 4 months, and then you get either slugs or stills or live babies. But like so it feels like lots going on, but like it's the same amount of time with the ball python egg or whatever. It's just you get to have like you interfere in the middle.
Right. Yep. Get your hands on stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's where like an incubator or ultrasound, like you said, would be really cool, because then you can actually look and see what's going on in the development. And
yeah, like if you are curious about, I think people like mistime boas a lot because they don't keep them together very much. But boas will cycle follicles just like a ball python will.
Sure.
And males are attracted to female boas, like really like, oh, hey. When she has similar sized follicles to ball pythons, which I think is interesting. It's like 15 millimeter follicles. He'll be like, that is a piece of meat that I want to chomp on. Meow, meow. Let's climb that pole. So, like, you don't actually have to pair all the time. You could use ultrasounds if you wanted to
Find
also.
out. Yeah.
But boas are big and they're like, I'm leaving. So they're hard to ultrasound. They're like, or like, excuse me, ma'am, do you have a rat in there? And so they'll like, I don't know, come up and like check you out, see if you're keeping any rats in your pocket, you know. And you're like, no, actually, I'm trying to. So I don't do it a lot, but it is fun.
Sure.
All right, we did it. Everybody can message you for a snake. I don't know if we accomplished anything.
Did we learn anything?
No, fuck no. Never once in our lives.
Yeah. It's all bullshit.
So this is Will's shirt. I haven't seen Will anymore, so this is my back call for Will. Come back, Will.
Nice. Yeah, Will's cool.
CNC Pie Dye Factor. He's the homie. He's just, I think he's taking a social media break, which maybe we all need a break.
Fair.
So
I did that
I'm
for a
thinking
while.
about him though. Bye, everybody.
Bye.